Welcome to Jazara for Dummies. It is June 9, 2025. Let's look at today's news from Professor William Liebenberg, prepared by Martin Stein. Please like, share and subscribe. Join our Telegram group in the comments below. Thank you. Let's go. The Jazara Law. Prepping for the 250th birthday parade. The soldiers from the Armored Corps are transporting tanks and other military vehicles for the Army's 250th birthday parade in Washington, D.C., on June 14th. Let's watch.
What you're seeing behind me right now is the tying down of the very first M1A2 System Enhancement Package version 3 Abrams main battle tank being tied down for the U.S. Army's 250th birthday parade. There are going to be a total of 28 of these tanks going to the parade in D.C. on 14 June. We're also adding 28 M2A3 Bradley fighting vehicles, 28 M1126 Stryker infantry carriers, which are in front of me behind you, and then 6 M109 A7 Paladin 155mm self-propelled howitzers. This is about 50% of the approximately 150 vehicles that are going to be in the Army birthday parade on 14 June.
This parade of military must be done on that date, to reverse what the Crown did to the Republic long ago. This military parade, with marching soldiers, takes back Washington, D.C., and the Republic. The Brunson Case, concerning the 2020 voter fraud case, is picking up momentum. Let's watch.
In 2020, there was a joint session of Congress deciding what to do with electoral votes because Ted Cruz wanted Congress to pause for 10 days because they had a mountain of evidence that there was some fraud going on. But members of Congress refused to support Ted Cruz. Only about 147 supported him. And so my brother called me on the phone and said, hey, I think there should be a lawsuit against these members of Congress and others for not allowing a 10-day pause for an investigation. And he says, and I have an idea that how we could pursue a lawsuit. And I said, what is it? And he says, well, we'd file a lawsuit and you could be the plaintiff. Well, I immediately said, yes, I'll be happy to be the plaintiff. Well, that turned into a federal lawsuit that was actually not dismissed at first, but it was actually unfiled by the Federal Court of Utah. So we took the Federal Court of Utah to court, and we got them, after a lot of fighting, we got them to reverse their decision and allow a lawsuit that's not even, according to their rules, supposed to be allowed in federal court. It's supposed to be in a special claims court. And after you get permission from the federal government to go to the claims court. So we made some history there, and it ended up at the Supreme Court. Okay, it was denied a hearing at the Supreme Court, and right now the appeal to the Supreme Court, which is a unique appeal as a Rule 11, there are a lot of rumors floating around right now saying that it's been executed or it's going to be executed. It's going to be, things are going to happen with it. But I just wanted to tell you from me and from the knowledge I have that there's timing. Everything happens to happen at the right time and place. And we have not had a Supreme Court that's really been whole. And until we do have a Supreme Court that is whole, Ted Cruz is set up to be the next appointed justice, Supreme Court justice, when there is a vacancy. But something has happened with the Solicitor General, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit. The United States Solicitor General takes over as the defendant's attorney in a case that's appealed to the Supreme Court of the United States. And the Solicitor General that was handling the defendants in my case was a Biden-appointed far-left liberal. Now, with President Trump just several weeks ago appointed and got confirmed his number one Supreme Court attorney, Dean John Sauer. Now, why is that important? Why is that relevant? Well, he becomes the defendant's counsel, the attorney for the 387 defendants. He has a lot of power and a lot of influence to get a conference, another conference. I've had one. I'm entitled to at least two. I've only had one, denied twice, a second one without a conference. But he has an amazing amount of power to get a conference and push this to a hearing. And now that Trump has supported my case twice, he did that back in 2023 in August. And a couple days later, that's when it was denied without a conference. So now that it's in the court, you could say that the new U.S. Solicitor General, Dean John Sauer, has this incredible position where he can do something with it at the right time. President Trump has said 2020 is not over, so this can be an incredible, exciting tool. I don't know how they're going to use it, but it could be used, can be used at the right time and place. So Dean John Sauer, the new U.S. Solicitor General, has a tremendous amount of power. The U.S. Solicitor General is considered to be the 10th Supreme Court Justice. He has a lot of power, a lot of influence, and President Trump, and he, I know, support this case. So it's in their power at the right time to do the right thing. So that's the best update I can give you at this time. Thanks, everyone, for your great support.
The Brunson versus Adams case simply states the obvious. Congress violated the Constitution. This case can likely reverse the 2020 election, due to massive election fraud. Such can dissolve all of Congress. Lloyd Brunson and his brothers filed their cases as pro-se common law litigants in a court that operates under U.S. Incorporated, the corporate United States of America, which even under Title 11, gives the Brunson brothers no standing to raise issues before the court. This is why they keep getting denied. It does not take a rocket scientist to figure this out. The cabal corporate United States of America still operates under admiralty law, maritime law or law of the sea, water, and not under constitutional common law. The sooner you understand this, the easier it is to understand that as long as they are not filing as members of the bar, they will continue not to get a decision in the U.S. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court has committed treason. They can only be removed by the United States military. This black gentleman from South Africa says, apartheid was better than the conditions now, under the ANC. Pay close attention to what he says.
Apartheid was better than ANC democracy. Note that ANC democracy. And most people who dispute that are people who are not there. And some of the people, they come from the homelands where they were oppressed by their own black people. Someone will tell you that they didn't have electricity, but where were you? Because I can tell you, it was not always rosy, but in the townships which were governed by apartheid administrations, things were better than now. Yes, there was segregation, but if you went into a black hospital, you'll find all the necessities. If you went to a black school, you'll find all those things that you needed to find. Let me break it this way. Education. There were schools, Zama Ambar, Artisan, technical colleges, Abo Vista, designated for black people, but it was there. You go to some of the urban, homelands under apartheid, like Abu Natal, you'll find universities of Fort Hare. You go to Soshanguve, go Struchel. There were, facilities, infrastructure. That's why in a township you'll find a qualified plumber, a qualified technician, a qualified electrician, somebody who could fix cars with a certificate, and that person did a proper job, trained for free, mahala, go negro. We found those things. Art schools, they were everywhere. Go Fuba, Funda Center, every township had a hall. Sports stars were produced at auction, tennis players, cyclists, amakarateka, movie stars up to international level, like Abu Zex Mukai, Ken Camp. Abu Miriam Makeba were produced during apartheid. You go to hospitals, like Baragwanath, General, they produced. There was no shortage of medication. Road infrastructure. Let's enjoy today, produced during apartheid. We had our own things, our own humanity, our own churches that we owned, where people are not, robbed, made to kiss snakes. We had our own things, businesses, movie theaters. We had those things. And then people who've never lived under apartheid, they will tell you otherwise. People who lived, oppressed by their Bantustan leaders. So what I'm talking about. I know apartheid. I've been inside an apartheid jail. Apartheid had shots, had fired bullets at me. I know friends who died during apartheid. Schools were proper. Whatever that white people had, we also had our own, even though it was not at par. Ama pools, like about Jake, you know, with the 3 townships, maybe they are sharing 1 swimming pool, Olympic size, boxing house, even beer houses, because they need dawa manj. We had those things. We had our own Miss Black South Africa. Everything that white people had, we also had. It was separate development. Today there is none. We had jobs. We had business people. Club. Also for song. Every township, go kids, good name. Every township, there was, you know, it's Haikun Lakon. People were driving about Jaguar, XJ type, BMW, coal mines, not coal mines, coal houses, some warehouses. We had those things, but things are malas. During apartheid. Ojomosono, produced during apartheid, but Halanabo Pig. Umalombo di Chap, Okazam Dawung. They were there owning our teams. It was tough, but we had those things. Houses. There were people who were buying houses. There were people who were renting. But they will fix your toilet, your windows, everything. 99-year lease. Which after 99 years, you own the house. There were limitations. But in whatever spaces that we found ourselves, we were thriving. Yes, there were poor people. And you would be arrested for not working. Like in any society. Now, there are poor people everywhere. Everywhere. The only people who are thriving are politicians and Zionist dogs. And then somebody's going to tell me, no, what is he talking about? We had electricity, so Orlando. Yes, you know, the rollout maybe was not as fast. But people, the was good was at December. Borders Mandan. Was a Friday. No, but Christmas is not every day. We had those things during the era of exude makeup, about the Ghost, every township under apartheid. Remember, we had 4 provinces, Nama Bantustan homelands, and I can tell you, even those Bantustans, like about Putatswana, they were better than now. About KZN, better than now. Lapago Toyando, the so-called puppets, they governed this country better than this ANC democracy. When I'm saying apartheid was better than this ANC democracy, I'm not saying it was good, but it was better. Imagine that. And I'm telling you, I will not lose this debate, even if losing I were to pay for your life expenses for the rest of my life, I will take that shot. I'm telling you, apartheid was better than ANC democracy. We produced, imported. Today we're buying more from outside. I'm chickens. Obama flooded us with chickens. We're importing toothpicks. We had industries, our textiles. People who were working 380 million, we had trains. Things that were built during apartheid. Tamalam Bilspana, the Pago Pasaf Pauben's attack.
Banks in the economy. U.S. President Donald Trump is expressing growing dissatisfaction with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, and just ahead of the weekend, he informed reporters aboard Air Force One that a decision regarding the next Fed chair will be coming out very soon. Whoever the new chair is, the person must be pro-gold standard. Commodities. Thomas Massey, I just introduced H.R. 3795, the Gold Reserve Transparency Act of 2025, to audit U.S. gold reserves. In February, President Trump said he wanted to go to Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there. This bill provides the full disclosure President Trump seeks. If they don't allow this bill to be passed, that's all the evidence we need to know that the gold isn't there anymore. Trump threatens Iran, stop enrichment, or we'll stop it, the other way. There's not going to be enrichment. Let's swatch.
He's very highly thought.
What do you make of the Ayatollah saying that they have to enrich? They have to be able to
No, they won't be enriching. If they enrich, then we're going to have to do it the other way. And I don't really want to do it the other way, but we're going to have to enrich.
What's your latest?
There's not going to be enrichment.
This will cause gold to RV, real quick. BRICS Jazara Nations Alliance. They're not developing an application, they are creating a financial internet. China, Singapore, Dubai, everything is connected, via XRP. Treasury, foreign exchange, travel, and payments. Ripple rails are used for routing. It won't be visible until it's all over. Invisibility cloak. This is what they show us. Imagine the technology they don't show us. Let's swatch.
This amazing invisibility technology was created by Hyperstealth Biotechnology Corp. and has been dubbed a real-life Harry Potter invisibility cloak. The quantum stealth, as it's more commonly called, can obscure objects, making them appear invisible. The sheet is made of light-bending material and boasts the use of something called broadband invisibility. The technology could be used to hide anything from ships to vehicles to spacecrafts.
Back to the Federal Reserve. Remember, the Fed will announce no later than June 27 if they are ready to implement ISO 20022 on July 14, or need more time. We know that cross-border payments can go live anytime from July 22, when President Trump signed the cryptocurrencies regulations into law. Payment systems. XRP versus SEC, 6 days left to act, or the case moves forward. By June 16, the SEC must update the appeals court on settlement talks, or the legal battle resumes automatically. Attorney Bill Morgan warns, something has to happen by then. No official settlement confirmed yet. June 16 is just a procedural update, not a verdict, so any major price action before then is likely fueled by speculation and big wallet moves, not real legal closure. Rumors about a secret deal are rampant, but legal insiders urge caution, since both sides must file new motions for anything to stick. Otherwise, the appeals process drags on, extending uncertainty and making this a trader's game of patience. At least it forces these two to expose where they really stand. The fact that they are both waiting till the last possible date to update the appeals court shows they are both trying for some reason to drag out the case as long as possible. Is Elon Musk staging a breakup with Trump to usher in XRP as the backbone of X money? You're not supposed to ask this, but the timing is too perfect. Let's go full rabbit hole. Elon and Trump were allies. Now? Sudden fallout. Musk says, "Without me, Trump would have lost." Trump replies, "I don't know if we're friends anymore." Why now? Just as markets teeter and US debt hits terminal velocity? Enter X, Elon's everything app. He's dropped clues for months that payments are coming. Not just fiat, but crypto-native settlement. Here's the kicker, he hasn't chosen Bitcoin. He hasn't chosen Doge. But XRP? Remember, Elon follows XRP insiders. He's met with Ripple-aligned players. And Bitstamp, now owned by Robinhood, a key Musk ally, supports XRP heavily. Bitstamp literally tweeted in 2024, "XRP will make history in 2025. What does this have to do with the Trump breakup? Optics. To make XRP mainstream, Elon needs institutional approval, Dem backing, and regulatory air cover. A public break from Trump gives him room to play both sides. Now look at RLUSD, Ripple's stablecoin. Just got approved in Dubai. Just listed on BitGet. Just integrated with RippleNet, which Elon's X-Payments team is reportedly eyeing. They needed a stable on-ramp. RLUSD is it. XRP is the bridge. So here's the theory. Elon stages Trump feud. X-Payments drops quietly. XRP used behind the scenes, for foreign exchange plus settlement. RLUSD equals fiat on/off. X equals UI. XRP equals plumbing. Trump equals fall guy. It's the oldest game, create chaos, then present the solution. You'll be distracted by politics, egos, and headlines, while they replace Swift with XRP. Whether it's coincidence or not, don't ignore the signs. Elon's war with Trump may just be cover fire for X money, powered by XRP. Elon's X money needs cross-border rails, instant settlement, regulatory clarity. XRP delivers CBDC bridge, $5 trillion, Swift replacement capacity, institutional adoption momentum. The breakup timing aligns with XRP's technical readiness for global payment infrastructure. Not conspiracy, just optimal infrastructure deployment timing. Even Bitcoin maxi Lark Davis admits it. Ripple Labs is going full software bank mode, buying companies, building infrastructure. This is not just payments. It's the foundation of global finance. XRP's long game is looking unstoppable. Let's swatch.
Strategy, meaning instead of prioritizing in-house development, essentially what they're doing is they are continually expanding through acquisitions and investments. The tentacles of XRP go long and far, essentially. So it's clear that acquisitions are a key part of Ripple's plans here.
XRP is positioned to become the global reserve digital currency. The dollar earned its dominance through liquidity, but liquidity has evolved. In a real-time, tokenized world, value doesn't sit idle in Nostro/Vostro accounts, it moves instantly, and freely across borders. XRP isn't here to replace fiat, it's here to connect it. Seamless. Instant. Borderless. When we stitch a few videos together, the visualization of this becomes much clearer. Let's swatch.
Possibilities. Something is going to be the trust layer that lots of stuff gets built on. Ripple is trying to be a payment rail for all the money that sits in between the banking system.
So in short, our proposals, I think, is a quite simple one. And that is that there be a independent enterprise. Now, it can be a quasi-governmental. There's certainly a role for strict standards and government role in this. But having been in the government, knowing how difficult it is to actually do technological innovation in government, being a representative of government that couldn't build a medical website, and after 3 tries eventually went to the private sector to get it done. This has really got to be built, if it's going to be built on time and built, it's got to be built with private sector involvement. On time and built, it's got to be built with private sector involvement.
Potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company.
To adopt XRP. We don't see a major challenge to adoption, to be honest. We've got a lot of deep dialogue running with regulators. The Bank of England ran a proof of concept using Ripple in the spring, and the bank is one of the most conservative, highly regarded institutions worldwide. So we haven't got issues with our regulatory support. Again, because the currency has been designed from the outset for transacting, it kind of puts us in a very strong position with the establishment.
Which platform / rail / asset becomes the one?
I don't think there'll be only one, but it's very clear that for me the direction of travel, the stable coins, and I do think that using XRP and the Ripple network has very strong use cases as well. Arguably, XRP is a type of stable coin in itself as well.
Rapid would use XRPs as a part of the transaction. Do you think that the existing issued 100 billion XRPs will be enough to cover once the XRapid service scales to a global full scale, or would there be a shortage?
Well, so when XRP was created, this actually was created before Ripple existed. The creators of XRP decided there'd be 100 billion units because they saw it as rather than having a smaller number with a very high price, they saw it as something they wanted to be effectively a global reserve currency.
Potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company.
They saw it as something they wanted to be effectively a global reserve currency.
Potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company is something that will deserve and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectation.
You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do.
And XRP being used as the bridge currency, because it was designed for that, is a multi-trillion-dollar problem that if I solve it, I make a lot of money, I being Ripple, but also I make a difference. And frankly, the reason I am so excited to work with that company is they can change the world. So that's their mission. They're not going to, it's very expensive, by the way, to have railroad tracks that reinvent the way cross-border payments are being done. So they're lucky to have a balance sheet for such a worthy goal. But I would say they are very smart in the way they're going about these options, but their main mission, where the money is being spent, is really laying down those railroad tracks that are very important. And no one, I mean, frankly, as I said, they can't pretend they occupy Bitcoin. They are store of value, just like Bitcoin is, obviously. But they're the clear winner currently in that cross-border, the clear winner. They're the clear winner currently in that cross-border, the clear winner.
Buy XRP, whilst you can. But wait, there is more. Let's watch these 5 short videos. 1. Why XRP can reach $10,000.
Most people think XRP can't hit $10,000 because of market cap. Market cap doesn't apply to XRP the way you think. It's built for high-speed transactions, settling in 3 to 5 seconds. This means the same XRP can be reused up to 50 times per day. Moving $1 trillion daily needs just $20 billion in liquidity, not $1 trillion. Now, picture a tokenized global economy worth $1 to $2 quadrillion. If XRP handles just 10%, that's trillions in daily settlements. To support this, XRP's price must reach $10,000 or more. Here's another factor. XRP's circulating supply is limited to 53 billion tokens. For global liquidity, the price must be high enough to handle massive volumes. With institutions, CBDCs, and governments adopting XRP, demand will only grow. Here's why market cap doesn't matter. XRP's value isn't speculation, it's utility. It facilitates massive global transactions efficiently. The price must reflect this demand, not an arbitrary market cap calculation. The future is tokenized, and XRP is built for the next era of finance. Think XRP can hit $10,000? Drop XRP.
2. The price of XRP is already locked into the system.
Is XRP's price already locked in? A lot of people are waking up to the fact that XRP's role in the new financial system is already locked in, and they're right. The infrastructure is built, the banking corridors are established, the CBDC pilots, the private ledgers, the cross-border payment rails, all of it has been quietly laid down behind the scenes while the public has been distracted. XRP's purpose is locked. What you're seeing right now is not a project waiting for adoption. It's a utility engine already plugged into the system, just waiting for the public on switch to be thrown. But let's be clear. While the demand and the use case are locked, the price isn't. Not yet. What you're seeing today is a placeholder price, not a true market value. The exchanges are still heavily manipulated. Liquidity is throttled, and regulatory shackles are keeping the spring compressed. When those barriers come down, and they're going to, we're not going to see a slow crawl upward. We're going to see a supply shock, a violent repricing, real liquidity pouring in from institutional corridors that were never built for retail to even touch. If you think the banks have been buying XRP quietly for years, just to suppress it forever, you're missing the bigger play. They're not trying to bury it. They're trying to control the supply before the new financial system demands it on a global scale. When the floodgates open, when utility activates, and when price discovery is finally allowed, the same XRP that you're holding today will be the most valuable asset you could possibly own. The system is built. The use case is locked. The explosion is coming. And it'll be too late to buy the dip when it hits. As always, show me some love. Repost these videos. Follow me if you're not following. You'll be glad that you did. Visit chadsarton.com for all of your crypto and precious metals needs. If you need a one-on-one Zoom coaching session, go over there and sign up today.
3. What happened with XRP in BRICS Nation UAE will blow your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, you better stop scrolling. I've got some breaking news. Dubai just chose Ripple as its official payment rail. No one else made the cut. This isn't just another win for Ripple. This is a global freaking power move. The Dubai Financial Service Authority has officially licensed Ripple as the only blockchain-based payment platform within the Dubai International Financial Center. That means Ripple now powers regulated crypto payments in one of the world's most important financial hubs, solo. No competition, no one of many, just Ripple. This changes everything. Dubai just validated Ripple as the future of global payments, and the world is watching. As Western regulators drag their feet, Dubai is racing ahead, building a blockchain-powered financial system with Ripple at its core. If you're not paying attention to XRP right now, you're about to be left behind. Show me some love. Repost this video, leave a comment, and follow me if you're not following. You'll be glad that you did. For all of your crypto and precious metals needs, visit chadsarton.com. I do one-on-one consultations. If you haven't got your Arculus wallet yet, go to my showcase here on TikTok, or I've got them on the website as well. See you in the
4. What will each of the ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrencies be used for?
All right, let's break down the ISO 20022 tokens and what sector they're about to dominate. First, we've got XRP. This one's the backbone of cross-border payments. It's already replacing SWIFT in some cases, moving money between banks instantly for pennies. It's the bridge asset that greases the gears of the new global financial system, let's say. Then we've got XLM, XRP's little cousin, but built for the people, you and me. Peer-to-peer payments, remittances, and banking the unbanked. Think developing nations, NGOs, and cross-border payments for everyday people. That's Stellar's lane. And XDC is the powerhouse for global trade. It's being used to tokenize real-world documents, streamline logistics, and settle invoices between massive institutions. If XRP is the banker's coin, then XDC is the trade finance engine. Algo is built for government adoption. It's fast, eco-friendly, and CBDC ready. Countries are already testing it for digital currencies, tokenized bonds, and smart city infrastructure. Expect Algorand to run digital economies. HBAR is enterprise grade, backed by Google, IBM, and Boeing. This one's about data integrity, compliance, and speed. It handles things like supply chain, digital IDs, and corporate grade transactions. Then there's Quant. It's the glue. It connects blockchains to each other and to the legacy systems. It's not flashy, but it's critical. Without Quant's overledger, none of this tech talks. It's the bridge of bridges. And IOTA, that's for machines, the Internet of Things, smart cities, self-driving cars, power grids, everything that needs fast, feeless, automated payments between devices. That's where IOTA is going to win. Cardano ADA. It is ISO 20022 ready, but it is not compliant at this stage. With Trump throwing it out there as part of the strategic reserve. Got to stop and take a look at it. As always, show me some love. Throw me a like in here. Go to chadsarton.com for a one-on-one consultation over Zoom. We'll answer all your questions, help you build a strategy and an exit plan. Share these videos and follow me if you're not.
5. The connection between Greenland, Canada, Mexico and the U.S. via XRP, tokenization.
So why is Trump trying to acquire Canada, rename the Gulf of America, and if you haven't seen it, there's a bill in Congress to rename Greenland Red, White, and Blue Land. Yes, there really is a bill for that. Why is he doing that? And what's it have to do with XRP? See, we're at the end of a 100-year cycle, and we're going through a currency and banking reset. For the last 50 years, about 1971, U.S. dollar hasn't been backed by anything. Before that, it was backed by gold. Since 1971, the dollar really hasn't been backed by anything other than the agreement that was made with the Saudi royal family to trade oil in dollars for all countries. So example, if you were Zimbabwe, you had to get U.S. dollars to actually buy oil if you're Zimbabwe. You couldn't buy oil in Zimbabwe currency. So you either had to exchange that money, which cost you money, for U.S. dollars, or open up a U.S. business and generate U.S. dollars so that you could then buy oil. It's been a very difficult arrangement for a lot of countries for many, many years. That's ended. U.S. dollar is no longer the petrodollar backed by oil. It's no longer the world reserve currency. And we're moving into a system where all currencies will be backed by real world assets like gold, silver, resources, deuterium mines, gold mines, real estate. See, small minds can't see past the cover story of he's doing everything for his ego. If you look at the fact that we're going through a global reset, all countries, all currencies are going through a reset, and you understand that all tokens and all currency is going to be backed by sovereign assets that the country owns, you'll understand why he wants to acquire Greenland, which is real estate, change the name to Gulf of America, and perhaps make Canada the 51st state, which makes it more real estate to tokenize on the XRP ledger to have us have more wealth. For the new kingdom of America, I wouldn't be surprised if you went after Mexico too.
That sums up your Monday news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.